Hello everyone, my name is Aditya Jindal and today I'm going to introduce you to AWS Lambda, one of the most popular cloud services offered by Amazon Web Services. Now, if you've ever used in apps like Instagram, Netflix, or even food delivery apps, chances are that somewhere behind the scenes, serverless computing is happening in those applications to help them run smoothly. And AWS Lambda is one of the biggest reasons why. So, let's just discuss what Lambda is. AWS Lambda is just a serverless compute service provided by AWS. In simple terms, it allows developers to run code without having to manage servers. But that immediately raises another question. What even is serverless? Serverless does not mean that servers disappear. Servers still exist, but AWS manages them for you. Developers no longer have to maintain the infrastructure or update operating systems, and instead they can focus completely on just building their applications. Let's just understand this further by connecting it to a more real world relatable example. Think of when you buy a car. Whenever you buy a car, you're responsible for everything related to it. You have to pay the monthly costs, maintain it, get oil changes, make sure the tires are good, and keep it secure. Even if you don't drive the car for an entire month, you still have to pay the monthly payments for it. Traditional cloud servers like Amazon EC2 work very similarly. You rent a virtual machine, but you're responsible for maintaining it, installing updates, configuring security, scaling it, and making sure that it keeps running properly. And importantly, you are paying for it continuously, even when nobody is using your application. Now, compare that to a taxi or a rideshare service like Uber. Whenever you call a taxi, you don't worry about oil changes, maintenance, or repairs. You simply get in, go where you have to go, and only pay for the ride that you used. That's essentially what serverless computing is. With AWS Lambda, developers only focus on writing their code. AWS automatically handles the servers, scaling, operating system updates, and the infrastructure management behind the scenes. And one of the biggest advantages of using serverless compute services like Lambda are the massive cost savings that come along with it. If nobody is using your application, Lambda can scale all the way down to the zero, meaning that you're not paying for unused computing power. This makes it incredibly useful for applications that have unpredictable traffic. For example, imagine you're building a website for your college club. Most days, only a few students visit it. But during an event registration week, suddenly thousands of students open the website at once. This, if you were using traditional servers, this would you'd have to prepare enough capacity ahead of time just in case the traffic spikes. That means that you're paying for powerful servers even during those quiet periods. But with AWS Lambda, the service automatically scales up when traffic increases and then it scales back down when the traffic finally drops. So you only pay for the exact amount of computing that you use. Then this brings us to another major benefit of Lambda: scalability. Going back to our car example, your personal car always has a limited amount of capacity. If suddenly 10 of your friends want to join you, there simply isn't enough space. But with a taxi service, you can just request as many cars as you need. AWS Lambda works in a similar way. If one person is using an application, Lambda might run only a single copy of your function. But if 1 million users suddenly start using your application, AWS will automatically launch thousands of copies almost instantly to handle that kind of demand. And once the traffic goes back down, those extra resources automatically disappear, meaning that you stop paying for them immediately. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is a Lambda function? We understand serverless now. But what is Lambda exactly? A Lambda function is simply a small piece of code that runs whenever something triggers it. For example, it could be uploading a photo to an app that could trigger a Lambda function to compress that image, or it could be receiving an online order through something like Grubhub that could trigger a Lambda function that sends you a confirmation email, or even logging into a game can trigger a Lambda function that updates the player data so that it helps you claim those daily check-in rewards. This is called an event. Anything that triggers a Lambda function is called an event. And this event-driven model is one of the reasons why Lambda is so powerful for modern applications, because it makes your applications react to a certain event that comes in. To conclude, AWS Lambda is a serverless computing service that allows developers to run code without managing any kind of infrastructure. It helps them save money because you only pay when your code runs, and it can scale automatically to handle anything from a few users to millions of users. In today's world, where applications need to be fast, flexible, and cost efficient, AWS Lambda has become an important technology. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.